Jessa Duggar has become more active on social media since marrying Maddie Grace. The two tied the knot on October 3, 2024. Since then, they've kept their followers in touch, sharing their romantic date nights and adventures. However, many Redditors were caught off guard when Jessa showed signs of having alcohol issues. Jessa recently took to social media to announce his upcoming project with Maddie Grace. According to the CountingOn alum, they just launched their YouTube channel and will upload videos soon. Jessa even put up a Q&A in IG stories to use as his first Q and a video on the channel. It's unclear what type of content fans will get to see from the married couple, but they may become vloggers just like some members of the Duggar family, especially with how much they love to travel together. Some CountingOn fans on Reddit reacted to a clip on Instagram about a woman sharing her tradition of opening up a bottle of wine for every occasion and anniversary with her husband. But what caught the attention of many was how Jessa Duggar liked the clip. It's known that Jim, Bob, and Michelle forbid alcohol in the family due to the IBLP teachings. This made the OP speculate if Jessa has been drinking alcohol. According to some, it's possible that most Duggar boys were allowed to drink because Jim Bob wasn't so strict with them. It's only a sinful activity if someone else does it, and I decide it's sinful for them to do it. If I decide to partake in it, that's different. The boys can do whatever they want, it seems like. Baptists in general are pretty split on whether drinking is okay or not. Josh definitely had an alcohol problem a while back, so that tracks to CountingOn, Jessa Duggar's fake wine at his wedding. Jessa Duggar also made headlines following his wedding after photos surfaced online showing what appears to be wine at guest tables. However, some CountingOn fans later discovered that they were Welch's sparkling grape juice. It shows that the Duggar family still follows strict rules about alcohol, which makes Jessa's liking content about wine more suspicious. Jill is the only family member who has admitted drinking an alcoholic pina colada, but she's been estranged from the parents for years and hasn't been part of the IBLP since marrying Derek Dillard. Jinger Duggar Voulo has been participating in interviews and podcasts to endorse her new book. The 31-year-old released People Pleaser: Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations last month. She has already received positive feedback about her memoir, but it seems Jinger has more stories to tell outside the book. Jinger's latest book, People Pleaser, is about how she broke free from living in the expectation of others. According to the CountingOn alum, she grew up in a standard where she must fulfill what others wanted to see and not what she wanted. It took her some time to finally realize she could live her life in her own way. The book also features stories about Jinger's childhood to early adulthood. Another story she shared in the memoir was how her mother, Michelle, played a significant role in her decision to break free, adding that she helped her get back into a healthy lifestyle after going through an eating disorder. Jinger reveals struggles in her marriage. Jinger Duggar Voulo recently participated in an interview where she opened up about her struggles early in her marriage with Jeremy. According to the CountingOn alum, she remembered being so afraid of almost everyone shortly after her wedding. She continued, "I think some of that is from being in the public eye, right? You have a level of self-protection, but I realized that it went to a very unhealthy place." Jinger then shared that she was also scared of going out to get coffee or lunch with someone because she was protecting herself from people who may criticize or misjudge her. It took her 2 years to come to a point of realization, saying that she was afraid to talk to her husband about her struggles. She added, "I tried to keep up this perfect wife mentality, and a lot of that was from being raised in the system of Bill Gothard." Jinger Duggar Voulo also took to social media to share clips from her latest podcast episode. The CountingOn alum's podcast was extra special as she finally gets to work with Tori and Zach Roloff from Little People, Big World. Jinger previously said that it's been a dream of hers to meet the couple. She also said in their podcast that they share many things in common, especially when it comes to living under a certain standard. Duggar Family Secrets, which delves into the inner workings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles and its controversial founder, Bill Gothard. Supporters of the organization have rallied together to launch a fundraising campaign aimed at creating their own counter-narrative series. This move underscores the deep divisions sparked by the documentary, which has been both praised for exposing alleged abuses within the IBLP and criticized by some as a biased portrayal of a faith-based movement. The IBLP, founded in 1961 by Bill Gothard, is a Christian ministry that promotes strict adherence to biblical principles through seminars, homeschooling curricula, and family training programs. These claims are central to Shiny Happy People, which features interviews with former participants, including members of the Duggar family, who share harrowing accounts of their experiences within the organization. However, not everyone agrees with the narrative presented in the docuseries. Many IBLP supporters argue that Shiny Happy People paints an incomplete and misleading picture of the ministry, focusing solely on negative aspects while ignoring its positive contributions to families and communities. In response, they've taken matters into their own hands, launching a crowdfunding effort to produce a competing series that aims to set the record straight. This description will explore the motivations behind this campaign, examine the criticisms leveled against Shiny Happy People, and analyze what this development means for the ongoing debate surrounding the IBLP. Before diving into the fundraising campaign, it's important to understand why Shiny Happy People has become such a lightning rod for controversy. Released in 2023, the 4-part docuseries pulls back the curtain on the IBLP, revealing how its teachings shaped and, according to many critics, warped the lives of those involved. Through archival footage, personal testimonies, and expert analysis, the series explores topics like patriarchy, corporal punishment, modesty culture, and the emphasis on purity within the IBLP framework. One of the most striking elements of Shiny Happy People is its focus on the Duggar family, stars of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting. As longtime adherents of the IBLP, the Duggars served as poster children for the ministry's ideals, embodying its vision of large, devout families living under strict patriarchal authority. However, the docuseries reveals cracks in this seemingly idyllic facade, detailing instances of abuse, rebellion, and disillusionment among the Duggar siblings. For example, viewers learn about Josh Duggar's arrest for possession of child pornography, a scandal that rocked the family and raised questions about the effectiveness of the IBLP's moral teachings. Other Duggar children, including Jill Dillard and Jinger Voulo, speak candidly about their struggles with the rigid rules imposed by the ministry, describing feelings of shame, fear, and isolation. While Shiny Happy People has been lauded for shedding light on these issues, it has also drawn sharp criticism from defenders of the IBLP. They accuse the filmmakers of cherry-picking stories to vilify the ministry, ignoring the countless families who credit the IBLP with strengthening their marriages, improving their parenting skills, and fostering spiritual growth. It is this perceived imbalance that has spurred IBLP supporters to take action, seeking to reclaim the narrative through their own storytelling platform. At the heart of this counter-effort lies a grassroots fundraising campaign spearheaded by a coalition of IBLP advocates. Using platforms like GoFundMe and social media, these supporters aim to raise funds to produce a documentary-style series that presents an alternative perspective on the ministry. According to their mission statement, the project seeks to highlight the transformative power of the IBLP's teachings while addressing what they describe as misrepresentations perpetuated by Shiny Happy People. The campaign's organizers emphasize that their goal is not to attack or discredit the individuals featured in the Amazon docuseries, but rather to provide a more balanced view of the IBLP's impact. They plan to interview current and former participants, pastors, educators, and other stakeholders who believe in the ministry's core values. Additionally, they intend to showcase real-life examples of families who attribute their success and happiness to the principles taught by the IBLP. As of now, the campaign has garnered significant attention within conservative Christian circles, with thousands of dollars pledged toward the project. Supporters have taken to social media to promote the initiative, sharing testimonials, and encouraging others to contribute. Some have framed the effort as a defense of religious freedom, arguing that Shiny Happy People represents an unfair attack on traditional Christian values. Others see it as an opportunity to educate the public about the benefits of structured, faith-based living. Despite the enthusiasm surrounding the campaign, questions remain about its feasibility. Producing a high-quality documentary series requires substantial resources, including professional equipment, skilled filmmakers, and access to compelling stories. While the initial fundraising total suggests strong grassroots support, it may still fall short of the amount needed to compete with the production value of Shiny Happy People. Nevertheless, the determination of IBLP backers demonstrates their commitment to challenging mainstream narratives about the ministry. To fully appreciate the motivations driving the fundraising campaign, it's essential to examine the specific criticisms leveled against Shiny Happy People. Proponents of the IBLP argue that the docuseries fails to capture the full scope of the ministry's work, instead focusing narrowly on its controversies. They contend that by highlighting extreme cases of alleged abuse and dysfunction, the filmmakers paint an unfairly negative portrait of an organization that has positively influenced millions of people worldwide. One common critique is that Shiny Happy People relies heavily on anecdotal evidence, privileging dramatic personal stories over broader statistical data or scholarly research. Critics point out that while individual experiences are undoubtedly valid, they do not necessarily reflect the overall efficacy or popularity of the IBLP's methods. For instance, many supporters note that the ministry's flagship program, the Advanced Training Institute, has been used successfully by thousands of homeschooling families to instill discipline, academic rigor, and moral integrity in their children. Another frequent complaint is that the series portrays the IBLP's teachings as inherently oppressive, without acknowledging the agency of those who choose to follow them. Defenders of the ministry stress that participation in IBLP programs is voluntary and that families often report improved communication, stronger relationships, and greater spiritual fulfillment as a result. They argue that portraying the IBLP as a coercive cult overlooks the autonomy of its adherents and misrepresents the nature of their commitment. Finally, some critics question the motives of the filmmakers themselves, suggesting that Shiny Happy People was designed to sensationalize the IBLP for entertainment purposes, rather than to foster genuine understanding. By juxtaposing archival footage of smiling, obedient children with later revelations of trauma and dissent, the series creates a stark contrast that feels calculated to shock and provoke outrage. Supporters of the IBLP view this approach as manipulative and dismissive of the complexity of human experience. The emergence of the fundraising campaign raises an intriguing question. Is it possible for two diametrically opposed narratives about the same subject to coexist? On one hand, Shiny Happy People provides a critical examination of the IBLP, exposing potential harms associated with its practices. On the other hand, the proposed counter-series aims to celebrate the perceived benefits of the ministry, offering a more favorable interpretation of its legacy. This tension highlights a broader challenge in contemporary discourse. How do we reconcile conflicting truths when discussing sensitive topics like religion, family dynamics, and personal autonomy? For every survivor of abuse who speaks out against the IBLP, there may be another individual who credits the ministry with saving their marriage or guiding their parenting journey. Both perspectives are valid within their respective contexts, yet they seem irreconcilable when viewed through the lens of public opinion. Perhaps the answer lies in embracing nuance. Rather than framing the debate as a binary choice between good and evil, proponents of both sides could acknowledge the complexity of human behavior and institutional influence. For example, it's entirely plausible that the IBLP has had both positive and negative effects, depending on the circumstances in which it operates. Recognizing this duality might pave the way for more constructive conversations about how to address legitimate concerns without demonizing an entire community. As the fundraising campaign gains momentum, all eyes are on whether IBLP supporters can deliver on their promise to create a compelling counter-narrative. If successful, their series could serve as a powerful rebuttal to shiny happy people, potentially swaying undecided viewers and reinforcing the loyalty of existing followers. Conversely, failure to meet expectations, or worse, producing content that lacks credibility, could further damage the IBLP's reputation and alienate moderates within the Christian community. Regardless of the outcome, the campaign underscores the enduring influence of the IBLP and its ability to mobilize passionate advocates. Whether you agree with their methods or not, there's no denying the dedication of those who believe in the ministry's mission. As the battle for hearts and minds continues, one thing is certain: the conversation surrounding the IBLP is far from over.